Heavy rains have caused rockslides and flooding in many areas of the United States and the western coastal state of California. At least 14 people have been killed so far across the state, and more than 200,000 homes and businesses left without power. Residents in the town of Montecito, home to many celebrities, including Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, have been ordered to leave.
Devastation caused by flooding, as far as the eye can see. Streets are inundated, homes and cars damaged by the floodwater. California is fighting a series of relentless and powerful storms. Torrential rains and high winds have forced authorities to issue warnings for large parts of the state. In Santa Barbara County, all 10,000 residents of the star-studded town of Montecito were asked to leave.
That's the price of living in such a beautiful place. When it rains like this, it can cause a lot of destruction. And it did 5 years ago. It killed a lot of people.
In Santa Cruz, this rock slide and flood water forced the closure of a highway. Scientists say these powerful storms are climate change-induced disasters. Dealing with this new reality requires climate adaptation and climate-resilient infrastructure.
Hot's getting a lot hotter, dry is getting a lot drier, but the wet's getting a lot wetter as well. And as a consequence of this, not only in terms of our deeper understanding and our consciousness as it relates to our lived realities, but also in terms of policy making, we're moving dramatically in different directions.
Tens of thousands of people remain without power, and forecasters expect more rain on top of the heavy downpours.
And meteorologist Matthew Capucci joins me now from Sacramento in California. Matthew, good to see you again. This is taking place 5 years to the day after deadly mudslides killed 23 in Montecito. How typical is what's happening for this part of California and this time of the year?
Most definitely. So when we talk about the wintertime weather patterns in California, it's either feast or famine. Some winters you see next to no precipitation whatsoever. Other times you get patterns of atmospheric rivers. So what's an atmospheric river? Basically this filament of moisture from the deep tropical Pacific that just comes into the coast like a fire hose. In the lowlands, the Central Valley, the coastline, you see prolific rainfall rates. In the mountains, you see tons of snowfall. So the Sierra Nevada recently saw 1 to 2 meters of snow in just the past 48 hours. But the big issue, the flooding. Some places seeing 2 to 4 inches. It's up to about 10, almost 12 centimeters in a few locales, up to 30 centimeters in the higher terrain of the Santa Cruz Mountains. So rock slides, mudslides, issues with the flooding as well, and 14 people dead so far from this flooding.
California seems to be very susceptible to extreme weather events. Every year we talk about wildfire season, now these relentless storms. We just heard it in the report. The governor of California saying, you know, the dry keeps getting drier and the wet keeps getting wetter. How close is all of this linked to climate change?
That's a really good point. And oftentimes when I talk climate change and I tell folks that both drought and flooding can be tied to it, people say, how can opposites be related to the same thing? And it comes down to warmer air's ability to hold more moisture. When the temperature gets warmer by 1 degree Celsius, the atmosphere can hold 7% more moisture. When moisture is available, i.e. in the wintertime, that means more rainfall because you have more water in the air, more comes down. In the summertime, when there's not as much moisture, the air is drier, the air gets warmer, so it sucks more moisture out of the ground and reinforces drought. So 2 sides of the same coin. Now, in terms of atmospheric rivers, we do sometimes get just coincidence. This is a coincidence that we're seeing a lot more of these weather patterns that favor more rainfall. However, climate change is kind of pushing that into record territory. So it's partially weather, but also partially climate, supercharging that.
And it looks like this is not the end of it. What will people have to brace for in the coming hours and days?
Most definitely. So you see sunshine behind me right now. We're getting a bit of a break in between 2 different weather systems, which is good news. A rinse and repeat cycle for them. But overall, it's been a very busy stretch of like 8 of these really bad weather systems since Christmas time due to what we call a zonal pattern, west to east flow steering these weather systems right into the west coast. I think that'll last for another 10 days. So expect 3 or 4 more big storms, then finally some relief for the beleaguered areas of California that have been hit hard.
Matthew Capucci, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for breaking this all down for us.
Thank you.